In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Aurora Talentum Dedalo fountain pen with Goccia Nib. I'll go over the specs, I'll do a writing sample, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this pen coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links to the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, it really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. So this is the Aurora Talentum Dedalo fountain pen, and this is a limited edition of 550 pieces. It is named after Daedalus, who was a Greek god, father of Icarus, and he was known for creating a labyrinth in Crete, which was designed to hold a minotaur. And so if we look at the cap here, this is designed to look like a labyrinth with this intricate geometric design. Now, the Talentum is the most affordable Aurora with the large size nib, and in this limited edition version, the retail price is $595 US. Now, on this particular pen, I do have a fine Goccia nib, which is considered one of their specialty nibs, and that adds an additional $150 to the price. So the total retail for this model is $745. Now let's just walk through the pen here. In terms of the design, we have nearly a flat top on the cap. However, it is slightly rounded such that it won't stand on a desk. And there is a little step down here before coming to like this chamfered step here. And on the back of that step, we can see the limited edition number. This is 401 of 555 pieces. And there's a little break here for the finial. And then we have the classic Aurora clip, which is a very robust, very functional clip. You can see on profile that it does have a bit of an S shape and it terminates in a big ball. Two of my favorite clip designs, this Aurora one, which is more shapely, and the Pilot ball clip as well. They both kind of have a triangular shape that terminates in a big ball. I find that this is very functional and works really, really nicely. Now, in terms of design, it sort of has like a Greek key kind of look to it, but if you look up pictures of the labyrinth, how it was represented in Greek culture, this is actually somewhat similar to that. So they did a good job with that. On the cap band, I mean, if you can call it a cap band, the whole thing is the same kind of chromed metal. It says Aurora, and then on the back it says Italy, because this is made in Italy, as all Aurora pens are. They're all made in-house in Turin, Italy, and they make all of the parts, including the nib. So that's one of the things that makes Aurora such a special company. In terms of the body, we have a blue resin body, and it terminates in this little tail. I don't know if you want to call it a finial, but it does sort of bevel down towards a rounded point there. Now, to uncap this pen, a little bit more than one turn, not bad. And uncapped here, we have a little step down, and there's threading, and there's a trim ring here on the section, and it's a big, comfortable section that flares out at the end. This is a cartridge converter pen, and being an Aurora, it does take a proprietary Aurora cartridge and converter. This is very, very similar to just a standard international converter, but it has just a wider attachment point, which I think is good. It helps, I think, with ink flow maybe a little bit. Parker cartridges do seem to work with these pens if you don't want to use the Aurora ones, although I do recommend the Aurora cartridges because Aurora Blue, Aurora Black, some of the best inks out there. Now, taking a closer look at the nib here. So it's 14 karat gold with Aurora's standard decoration. And if we turn it over, we can see the ebonite feed here. These are ink impregnated ebonite feeds, and you can see CF here, which is the Goccia fine. So looking at about 135 long, uncapped, looking at 132, 133. Posted, this does post very nicely. It is a metal cap, so it does have put some weight on the back of the pen, but I do use it posted quite a lot, about 162. And then for the grip section, very comfortable pen here. I'll start right after the threads, looking at 12 millimeters, and then right before it kind of flares out, 10 millimeters. So 2 millimeter taper here, very, very comfortable overall. Now in terms of the weight, looking at 33.8 grams, and without the cap, and this does have a converter in it that's relatively full, 20 grams, very comfortable size. Now, I do have one of the standard Talentums in black here, so I do think it would be interesting to see what the difference is in the weight of the caps. So the cap on the standard black plastic one is 10.5, and on the metal one, it's only 13.77. So this doesn't really give you too much of a weight penalty. Now, I will say, compared to the Optima and the 88, the Talentum does have a bit more of a back-weighted feeling to it. It does still balance in my hand, but I would say from a comfort perspective, the Optima, again, my favorite pen, that's like a 10 out of 10. This would be more like an 8 or a 9 out of 10 for comfort for me. It's very, very comfortable. It fits well in my hand, but I do notice some more weight in the back. Now to do a size comparison, here it is with a Aurora Optima, an Optima Mini, a Lamy CP1, and a Montblanc 149. So this is for sure a full-size pen. I wouldn't quite call it an oversized pen, but it definitely is, noticeably larger than a Aurora Optima. Now the grip sections are roughly the same. The Optima, not being a cartridge converter, does have a slightly longer grip section, and of course you have an ink window because it is a piston filler, but comfort-wise, especially uncapped, I would say they're basically the same. So for the writing sample, I'm going to be using a Papermind Tomoe River hardcover notebook. These notebooks are excellent for fountain pens, and for Blake's Broadcast viewers and subscribers, you can get 10% off with code BB10 at checkout. All right. So I thought it would be interesting because I actually have two Goccia nibs. I have a medium here and a fine on the Dedalo. So let me do just a comparison so you can see that the size, but both of these nibs perform really, really nicely. So this is the Talentum Dedalo, and this is the CF Goccia nib, and this is Aurora Black. Okay. We'll do some fast writing. Very nice. Now, the Goccia nib, it's cut back at an angle. It's sort of like a zoom nib or the calligraphy curve nib from Montblanc. So when you hold it up at a high angle, you get a very fine line. And then when you hold it at a lower angle, you get a wider line. At about 45 degrees, I would say this is, I'd say this is between a fine and a medium. In terms of flexibility, you can push on it a little bit and you do get line variation. You're not going to see it in normal writing though from pushing on it. These Aurora nibs, are pretty stiff. One of the things though I do love about Aurora nibs is how precise they feel. They do have some feedback, but they do just a really good job. I mean, as you guys know, if you watch this channel, Aurora's makes my favorite pens. So let's compare it to the medium Goccia nib. This is going to be at my normal writing angle. And then the fine. And then if we go at a low writing angle, low writing angle. Okay, and then if we go high, start with the medium. And the fine. Yeah, so you can see that the difference here is noticeable. I personally think I like the fine better than the medium. They're both quite good though. I think in my normal writing angle, which is, I don't know, that might be maybe 60 degrees. Fine writes, I would say, more like an Aurora medium, and the medium writes more like a broad. But these are just really nice nibs. Oh, let's try reverse writing. Yeah, this can do reverse writing, and it's actually not too bad. I mean, there's some feedback, but it's not so unbelievably scratchy. So can definitely do that. Now, one other thing I wanted to show, I forgot to show the tipping here, is cut at a pretty strong angle here. So instead of a ball, it's kind of, I mean, it is a ball, but it's cut back just like a curved nib on the Mont Blanc curved, or like a Sailor Zoom nib. The other thing I want to show you really quickly, because I've never seen this before after experiencing many Aurora specialty nibs, is that in the box, this little card came which shows Filippo Logero, the Nibmeister of Aurora. Now, I don't believe these are actual live signatures, but you can just see you get a signature from the CEO and the president, as well as the nib master, and it's marked CF here and special nib. And it's my understanding that Filippo is the guy that does every single specialty nib that you get from Aurora. So they're all done, ground by hand by Filippo if you get a specialty nib. And I just thought it was nice that they include this card. Just never seen it before, so nice touch from Aurora. Okay, what are my pros and cons for the Aurora Talentum Dedalo fountain pen with Goccia nib? Well, this is one of the very few Talentums that is a limited edition. I very much like the geometric labyrinth design and the story behind this pen. I think that's really neat. I really want to see Aurora do more with the Talentum line, because I think it is a fantastic pen and we just don't see very many limited editions in this line. It's a great alternative to the Aurora Optima, which is my favorite pen, but sometimes you want a cartridge or converter, makes it much easier to clean, and you have a different, more maybe modern looking pen. So I really like all that. The Goccia nib is fantastic. I really like the Goccia Fine. It just adds an extra layer of uniqueness and specialness to the pen, and it makes for an enjoyable writing experience. If you want to write with the broad line, you can do it. You can write with the fine line. It works really, really nicely. And of course, the performance of the nib is fantastic. In terms of cons, these are a limited edition. I believe you can still get these. This was a pen that I got recently, and we're only on 401. So they've got, 154 more to go. If you guys are interested in this, contact me and I will try to give you the best price that I possibly can, with or without a specialty nib. But, with the specialty nib, the retail price in the United States is $745, which is a lot. You really got to like the looks of this pen, because that is, well into Aurora Optima money, and I do think the Optima is more comfortable. You do get a piston filling system, and I think the trims on the Optima, I mean, it's really just a trim ring, is a little bit nicer. The other con I would say is that it's still very comfortable when it's posted, but I do notice more of that weight back there. I can write 2 or 3 A5 pages with this posted, no problem, but it may be heavy for some people, especially if the balance is different in your hand. So it's something to be aware of. But that's pretty much it. Do you guys have this pen? Do you like this pen? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen paper and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.